NASCAR has not even dropped the green flag at Las Vegas Motor Speedway yet, and we have already got one of the biggest pre-race stories of the entire 2026 season. Because before a single lap was run at the Pennzoil 400 this weekend, 4 Cup Series teams walked into the inspection garage and walked out with penalties that are going to affect how their entire race plays out on Sunday. Car chiefs ejected, pit selection gone, and 4 drivers who came to Las Vegas looking to build momentum now have to fight an uphill battle before the race even starts. And here's the thing that makes this story bigger than just a routine inspection penalty. Look at the names involved. This is not 4 small teams trying to sneak something past NASCAR. We are talking about William Byron and the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, Austin Cindric in the number 2 Team Penske Ford, Allmendinger in the number 16 Kaulig Racing Chevrolet, and Dillon in the number 10 Kaulig Racing Chevrolet. 2 of the most powerful organizations in all of NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports and Team Penske, both caught in the same pre-race inspection sweep at the same race weekend. That is not a small story. That is a statement about how aggressive teams are willing to get when they think nobody is watching. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happened in that Las Vegas inspection garage, what the penalties mean for each driver going into Sunday's race, and why this story says something important about how far teams will push the rules when the pressure of a 2026 championship season is on the line. Before we get into it, if you are a true NASCAR fan who watches every single race and wants to talk about this sport every week with people who actually follow it, subscribe to NASCAR Report right now. We are building this community from scratch, and we want real fans in it. Now, let's go. Pre-race inspection at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is now complete, and the results are significant. The cars of Austin Cindric in the number 2, Dillon in the number 10, Allmendinger in the number 16, and Dillon in the number 24 all failed inspection twice. As a result, each team lost their pit stall selection for Sunday's race, and the car chief of each team was ejected from the race weekend. Let's break down exactly what those penalties mean in practice. Losing pit selection sounds like a minor inconvenience until you actually think about what pit road position does for your race. At a 1.5-mile oval like Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the first intermediate track on the 2026 schedule, pit road strategy is everything. Where you pit, how quickly you cycle through, and whether you gain or lose track position on a pit stop can be the difference between a top 5 and a top 15. When NASCAR takes away your pit selection, you're forced into whatever stall is left after everyone else picks. That is a real competitive disadvantage that follows you all race long. And losing your car chief is just as serious. The car chief is the person responsible for the setup of the race car. They oversee the mechanical preparation, communicate with the crew chief on setup adjustments, and manage the car on pit road during the race. When NASCAR ejects a car chief, they are removing one of the most important pieces of the team's operational structure for the entire weekend. That is not a slap on the wrist. That is a real consequence that disrupts how the team functions from the moment it happens. All 4 drivers, Byron, Cindric, Allmendinger, and Dillon, will lose their pit stall selection and have their car chiefs ejected for this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 4 teams, same penalty, same consequence, all hitting before a single lap of the Pennzoil 400 has been run. Let's talk about each of these teams individually, because the championship implications are very different for each one. Start with William Byron. Byron comes into Las Vegas sitting 11th in the championship standings and is coming off a 7th place finish at Phoenix, his first top 10 of the 2026 season. His average running position of 11.64 this season is 6th best in the entire field. That tells you the number 24 Chevrolet has genuine speed this year. Byron also has a strong history at this track. In 16 starts at Las Vegas, he has 1 win, 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 337 laps led. In the next-gen era on 1.5-mile ovals, his average finish of 9.82 is best among all drivers. This is a track where Byron absolutely should be competitive. And now he walks into race day without his pit selection and without his car chief. That is a problem. What makes the Byron situation even more interesting is that this is not the first time the number 24 team has dealt with inspection drama. At the regular season finale at Daytona last August, Byron's crew chief Rudy Fugle was ejected after NASCAR caught the team making an unapproved adjustment to the splitter after the car had already passed inspection. NASCAR Managing Director Brad Moran described it as a situation where someone made an adjustment with an official's back turned, and that draws a much harsher penalty than simply failing a body measurement. Fugle himself admitted afterward that the team was pushing too hard in inspection and that it was something he deeply regretted. Fugle said directly that he was ejected and that it was unfortunate, that he hated not being down there with his team fighting for the win. His words were clear. They were pushing too hard on Friday, and it was well documented. Now, here we are in 2026, and the number 24 team is dealing with another inspection issue at another critical race weekend. At some point, a pattern becomes a problem. Now, let's talk about Austin Cindric and Team Penske. Cindric sits 26th in the championship standings right now, with just 34 points through 4 races. That is already a tough hole to be in. Cindric has 34 points through the opening stretch of the season, and Las Vegas was shaping up as a chance to start climbing back toward the playoff bubble. Now he heads into that race starting from a worse pit position than he earned and with disruption to his team's operational structure. For a driver already fighting from behind in the standings, that is a brutal situation to be in. Allmendinger and Dillon both represent Kaulig Racing, which means one organization had 2 cars fail inspection on the same weekend. That is an organizational problem that goes beyond one car or one crew member making a bad decision. Allmendinger was also reported to have a potential power steering issue during practice with his number 16 Chevrolet not driving smoothly at all late in the session. So Allmendinger is heading into Sunday's race with a car that wasn't driving right in practice and a penalty from inspection. That is not the way you want to start a race weekend at any track. Here is the bigger question that this story raises. Why do teams keep pushing the inspection process knowing exactly what the consequences are? The answer is straightforward. In a championship season where every single point matters, where the difference between making the chase and missing it could come down to 2 or 3 points at the end of 26 races, teams are willing to take calculated risks in inspection because the potential gain in performance outweighs the risk of getting caught. NASCAR has been very direct about their approach to cracking down on this. Their stated position is clear. They want fans to know that every car has been closely scrutinized and is on an even playing field. When a team makes an adjustment with an official's back turned, that draws a bigger penalty than simply failing a measurement. NASCAR views that kind of move as a direct challenge to the integrity of the inspection process. The penalties at Las Vegas this weekend: 4 teams, 4 car chiefs ejected, 4 teams losing pit selection, are NASCAR sending a message to the entire garage. You can try to push us, but we are watching, and when we catch you, the consequences are real. 4 teams penalized. 2 powerhouse organizations, Hendrick Motorsports and Team Penske, both caught before a single lap. Pit selection gone. Car chiefs sent home, and now 4 drivers have to go out on Sunday at one of the fastest tracks on the schedule and try to overcome a penalty that was entirely self-inflicted. The Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway has not even started yet, and it's already one of the most dramatic weekends of the 2026 NASCAR season. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think teams will ever stop pushing the inspection process, or is this just part of NASCAR at this level? And which of these 4 penalized drivers do you think will overcome it best on Sunday? Subscribe to NASCAR Report for this conversation every single week. Like the video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you at Las Vegas.